Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Sean Power podcast. I have another very special guest on the podcast today. This man is a veteran of the personal training game in Galway and in Ireland. If you're from Galway and you've been to any gym in Galway, you probably know this man. So I've Kevin Connelly on the call with me today or on the podcast. Kevin, how are things?
Good, Sean. Good, good. And thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No worries. So for the people maybe who aren't from Galway, who don't know you, can you give a brief introduction, who you are, what you do?
Yep, let's go on. I mean, there's probably a hell of a lot of people from Galway as well that don't know me. I'm quite a quiet individual. Keep myself to myself. But yeah, as I said, my name is Kevin Connelly. I'm from Galway. As I said, personal trainer, online coach, however you want to deem it. And as I said, that's who I am in a nutshell. Like there's not much more to it. As I said.
There's a simple man, and
Hmm?
you use that approach as well in your personal training. Like a lot of coaches now, or a lot of people on the internet, we're bombarded with so many things. If you type into Google, like, or somebody wants to get fit, and they're like, okay, what's the best diet? You get your low carb, high carb, fucking high whatever. You get your fucking steroids. You get your fucking whatever, intermittent fasting. You get whatever you want, but you just bring it back to basics every single time. And your Instagram, especially over the last few months, since you've started speaking more on your Instagram, it's become very entertaining and very truthful as well.
Yeah, thank you. I try, but the Instagram thing has sort of grown in the last few months simply because um I used to be on it hot and cold, on and off, but then I started getting more and more messages from people how the odd post or the odd DM actually helped them. Then I said to myself, I made a promise to myself then, that, you know, you're in this game of personal training, okay? Behind all the bells and whistles, you're there to fucking help people, okay? So if I'm essence, I might be helping someone in the gym that I'm in. That's only a limited amount of people. So then I started looking at Instagram because Instagram used to annoy me a lot, okay? But then that was my own fault. I was looking at it through the wrong lens or looking at it from the wrong perspective. But and I started to scale back and say, right, well, let's just start putting stuff how I see things and start putting out stuff with the intent of, adding value and actually fucking helping people. Okay. And then it's just like, it's like anything, the same as training, you just build momentum and you just tell you gain confidence, you get more comfortable talking into this little block phone in your hand, and as I said, it just rolled from there. And for me, the biggest change that I've seen in my business with people, and it's the thing that people appreciate the most, is the relatability. Because whether you're on Instagram, okay, which we all know is a highlight reel, all right, of your life or your persona. I mean, it's not reality for most. Is this, and then again, if you have a bit of muscle or you're a bit fitter, you're stronger, is people tend to put you in a stereotype, okay? And especially for me, and the more and more people I've spoken to in person and online, is the common theme of apparently I'm a lot scarier, okay, looking than I think myself. And every client has said to me, you're nothing like you look, okay? So again, I try and put this persona across on Instagram the same way I do in the gym, is that I'm just the same as you. There's nothing special about me, okay? I just have experience in this game. You're looking to make headway in this game of health and fitness, ask me. Like, I'm no different than you or anyone. I started someday not knowing a clue about anything. It's just now people and Instagram, the more I'm on it, has made things very apparent to me. People are afraid to talk to fitness professionals. Okay. One, because a lot of them are not professional in how they carry themselves or their business or how they speak to people. Okay. And that's no demeanor on any individual as well. But also, they're afraid to fucking reach out and ask for help um, because they're afraid of being sold to. And that was a big, big flag I seen when I started to talk more to my followers, you know. So it's just something that I try and put across is the Instagram handle I have is there to help you guys. Okay, that I'm approachable, whether you're a client of mine or not. If you have a question, ask me. You know, I'm not going to try and sell you anything. You know, I got into this game to try and help people. So chances are, if you contact me, I'll try and help you. Now, I might be a bit blunt in my approach in helping people, but that's because I'm a firm believer, and that's what the majority of people need. But my clients will testify, or anyone that has spoken to me will testify that I may be bluntly honest with you and potentially call you out on your own bullshit. But you'll be damn sure that I'll give you a piece of advice or a stepping stone on how you can help yourself move past that bullshit you're telling yourself. You know,
Yeah.
does that make sense in a roundabout way?
Yeah, it does, definitely. And I love your stories on Instagram. You definitely give a no bullshit approach. It's just like training, diet, eat your vegetables, hydrate. I thought about it this morning or yesterday morning whenever you put it up when I was having my coffee, because you put something up, hydrate before you caffeinate, and I was like, oh yeah, drank a pint of water then before I put on the coffee.
Yeah, but it shows you the power of this little fucking thing.
Yeah, like you didn't know that I saw that post unless you
No.
were looking at who looked at it, but like,
But that's the biggest thing I've taken away from it, Sean, is I used to post so many stuff, okay, or stories, or go to put it up, and then I wouldn't, okay, because I think it was silly, or who wants to know that? But now, no matter what it is, relatively speaking, I post it because I say, well, fucking hell, if it helps one person, or one person might get an inkling from this post or this story, you know, well, then what sort of bastard am I if I don't put it up? If I'm portraying to be this person that helps individuals, do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But it's the little things. Again, it goes back to the simplicity. Hydrate, okay? And as I say, Sean, the only reason I put up the simplicity stuff about it is because I've been down the road that you guys are trying to go down. Okay, I've been to the top of the mountain. Okay, I'm back down, and I've met every fuck up that you could imagine along the way. You know, fucked myself up mentally and physically in more ways that you could ever imagine. So now, when I digest the last 15, 80 years of my own health and fitness and training and nutrition aspects, okay, from extreme measures to just everyday health and fitness, it really comes down to this bodybuilding. Okay, essentially, it's a form that most people go to the gym at some you know, so some people do it to an extreme, okay, and some people just do it leisurely. It's still building your body in some way or form. Okay, learn the basics, how to lift the weight, move your body. Okay, eat relatively whole food. Okay, every few hours, prioritize protein, a bit of fruit and vegetable, stay hydrated, and just repeat that, okay, for 3 to 5 to 10 years. And that's it. Whether you just want to lose 5 pounds or whether you want to build a world-class physique, that's it. But that doesn't sell, Sean, because that requires a bit of fucking effort and a bit of fucking consistency, okay? Whereas if I come and give you a spiel about this fucking booty fucking blaster or chest fucking annihilator or big biceps, 8 weeks, okay? This, that, and the other. You know, I could make a program and sell 100 of them like that. But you know, it's this. It comes back to the same premises as why the fucking lotto is so popular. Okay, because everyone likes the idea of having money, financial freedom, and being a millionaire. Okay, but no one wants to fucking do the steps that's required to get you fucking there. Does that make? And it's the same in health and fitness. The same. Okay, and don't see me saying that as though I'm talking down to any individual. I have the utmost respect and admiration for any individual who has the fucking balls or ovaries to step inside a gym, because I've been there. It's an intimidating environment, you know, but the balls or audacity then to want to better yourself, and even to be honest and just say, look, I'm not happy where I am. I want to better myself. I want to improve. I don't look how I look or how I feel. I'm fucking tired of it. And to say that to someone, or even to say it to yourself, you know, takes a lot of courage. But I just try and strip back the layers for people and say, okay, you know, it is this simple. I've been there, but it's trying to portray the simplicity, okay? But the biggest misconception is people skew simplicity or something as simple as easy. It's not. Just take walking, for example. The majority of us know how to walk. All right. It's a very simple everyday demeanor. But walking 1 mile might be easy. Walking 500 meters is easy. But that same action to walk 100 miles, that's not so easy, is it? But it's the same action, it's the same concept, okay? So it's the same whether you have to lose 5 pounds of body fat or 50 pounds, whether you have to put on 5 pounds of muscle tissue or 50 pounds. It's just the journey is a bit longer. So if you have to walk 100 miles now instead of 1 mile, 1 mile you put on a pair of shoes, have a drink of water, and off you go. It's 1 mile down the road. If you have to walk 100 miles, chances are you probably want to speak to someone that's been 100 miles so you can make a plan together, all right? And plan for potholes in the road and curveballs and feeding yourself along the way and hydrating yourself and knowing when to, right, we can push a bit this week, let's pull back then. And planning that over a, 6-week, 12-week, whatever period it is. And that's essentially what I do, But again, it comes back to simplicity. Everything in life, Sean, everything. Simplicity, action over time. Tim, you want to walk a mile, 1 foot in front of the other, but you have to do that for long enough to get to the mile. But, and I do appreciate that is a hard sell, and it's hard to buy into that, because I was the young lad, okay, that heard all this before back in the day by older individuals that told me, you do the basics, you eat good food, you learn how to rest and recover, and do that for 10 years and you'll have an incredible physique, Kevin. But I fell into the trap then of the supplements and all this crazy voodoo shit. But, I eventually came out the other end and realized how simple this game is. Like, essentially what I'm doing, okay, is we have a world full of human beings that are living in a world that's not conducive to human beings. Like putting goldfish into, into, the Serengeti, most of them will die, but eventually they'll evolve, but they'll be all sorts of fucked up. So again, we have humans that live in an environment that is not conducive to your biologically human being as you are a human. So now we have a world full of illness, obesity, mental health, okay? And every sort of disorder you could imagine. Why is that? So essentially what I do a lot in my job, and people might think, oh, it's hairy, fairy, hippie shit. It's stemming things back, okay? To teach people how to pull back and what it is to be a fucking human, how to eat like a human being, how to look after yourself like a human being, how to get out a bit of fresh air and move and exercise as a human being. But as I said, there's nothing sexy about that.
Yeah. It's a hard sell.
And that's where it comes. But the thing is, Sean, when you do get that person that buys into it and realizes, that's how it starts. That's how it starts. And you want to make it so simple for the client that, 3 to 6 months down the line, the client says, you actually get paid for this. Okay? Because they see how simple it is.
Yeah.
Okay. But the thing is, simplicity is not easy, and human beings, as we are not simple creatures.
True.
And that's where, again, you have to try and integrate things into everyday life, because that's where everything gets a bit fairy, for want of better words.
And we see it every week, every weekend with our clients, like Monday to Friday. I have a lot of clients who work 8 to 4 or 9 to 5 or whatever, and they have their lunch, they have their dinner, their breakfast, everything is spot on. Then Friday evening, they're like, fuck, I no work tomorrow. And there's a long weekend now. They're like, shit, now we have Monday off as well. Right, that's it. What do I do with the food? And like, keep going, eat at the same times if you can. Oh, but I'll be out. But sure, you made your meals Monday to Friday. So what's the difference? Bring it with you, or or try to eat around the same times, try and get up the same times, go to bed around the same times. But like, they just seem to just lose it then at the weekends, because it's just, there's no structure there. So we are creatures of habit as well. We're complex, but we're also creatures of habit.
But that's it. As you said on there, structure.
Yeah.
Structure and routine. Well, as human beings, without it, you're fucked. Okay. And what I mean by that is, and you're taught that from a child. Okay. And that any mothers or fathers that listen to this, if you had a young child and you let that little bastard do whatever they want. You let them sleep when they want, go to bed when they want, get up what they want, eat what they want. Could you imagine the fucking madness? Okay? And what that child would end up like. Okay? Now, you take that to human beings, and any human being or adult watching or listening to this is no offense to you. But essentially, what a part of my job is being a big babysitter. All right? Because most human beings, the only structure they have is their 9 to 5. Okay? Which a lot of them aren't very happy with. But again, that's a whole different dynamic.
Different conversation.
Yeah, and nothing to do
It's the
with
next
me.
podcast.
Yes. But all of a sudden, then they're Monday to Friday. But by default, they have to be somewhere at 8 or 9 a.m. and they have to stay there for a certain period of time. And they've only got, 1 or 2 lunch breaks where they can eat. So by default, they haven't put structure and routine. Someone else has designed their life. Okay. And then all of a sudden, okay, come Friday evening, you've Saturday and Sunday all to yourself. You don't know what the fuck to do with yourself. Okay. And then you fall into this mentality of, this is why environment is so important as well. And most workplaces, all right, from what I've learned and the brief experience I've had as a younger man, they're the most toxic fucking environments that you could imagine. All right. They're like, the majority of people have so little going on in their own lives, and people get very irritated when I say this to them, but that says a lot in itself. That these little offices and cubicles and whatever environment you work in, even massive factories, they become like little programs like EastEnder, like Coronation Street, okay, where the people create drama, they talk about other people, this and that, If so, and it's because they have nothing else going on in their own lives outside of that workspace. It's all they know. And that's all of a sudden, and this is why change is so hard for a lot of clients as well. Then if you have 10 people in a work environment, and you've been working there for 6 months or a year or two, all of a sudden those people know you as, Jenny, Jenny who has the subway, Jenny who goes out in the nights, Jenny who's great crack, Jenny does this. Okay. All of a sudden Jenny's not happy and Jenny wants to change. All of a sudden now you're the black sheep. Okay. And Jenny is doing her absolute best to make positive change. But these other fuckers, okay, why are you eating that, Jenny? Oh, you're trying this fitness thing again. Oh, you're trying another diet, And it's that little sarcastic, even though them other people might mean nothing by it, it's that ingrains in Jenny now, who already, for a lot of people that might be a bit overweight, are already massive insecurities, okay? And I empathize with them. I understand. So the slightest thing that they may say, all right, she'll pull back. And all of a sudden now eating a healthy, okay, or just whole foods lunch is seen as demonized. All of a sudden now Jenny used to go for a Subway or a drink at lunch or in the evening time. Now she says, oh, I'm going to the gym instead. Again, they make fun of you. Do you get what I'm saying?
And how do you deal with that if you have a client or somebody maybe who comes to you and says, look, I'm working here, but we have a good culture of going out, or I don't know if my friends or my partner or family or whoever are going to support me along the way. I know they're going to make sly comments, and maybe they will, like a lot of times they do support you, but they still make that sly comment of, oh, he's not eating the dessert or whatever it is, or he's not, he only had 1 pint, or he's not drinking, he's on antibiotics, he's pregnant. All these little sly comments they're only jokes, but like at the end of the day, they can have that effect, as you said.
They have a massive effect. And I know that myself, as I said, a man, I used to drink a hell of a lot, party, and even back, in my bodybuilding days where we'll be training to compete, my friends, they'd make sly remarks, etc., etc. And deep down, they'd really, really hurt me, But going back to your phase of how I deal with clients that, are in these environments, or in, if you touched on there, in relationships, okay? Your partners and families are two of the main culprits why people they don't change in the first place, or two, they don't make substantial change, okay? But one, it's very individual how you approach or what approach you take with the individual, And that's why onboarding a client is so, so important, because you can do a lot of damage to how you go along with an individual as well. But to put it overly simplistic or overly basic, a generalized answer is, you know, it's about getting them understanding, okay? Right, we'll use Jenny, hypothetically Jenny, for example.
Poor Jenny is
Right,
getting
you've
it
come to
today.
me, Jenny, all right? You want to change. There's a reason you want to change, all right? You know, and let's just say she hasn't been happy for the last 3 to 5 years. So again, you know, and then it's about making Jenny understand that, yeah, you're uncomfortable now, okay? Yeah, you want to fit in with the social group you have, but it's about understanding then as well that without making subtle changes, nothing's going to change in the next 3 to 5 years, okay? And then when you start working with Jenny, getting the thought process of, okay, well, if I don't get comfortable being a little uncomfortable right now and making choices for myself, that's hard. But then if you say to Jenny, the thoughts of staying in the same environment and the thoughts of you being in the same situation yourself, whether it's mindset or body composition and health-wise, in the next 3 to 5 years, which scares them most? And I don't mean scare in a bad way, okay? But that's where, again, the psychology of transformations and everything comes into play. And all of a sudden then, because if I tell Jenny, doesn't matter if I educate her and tell her about the importance of nutrition and training and everything, the client has to see for themselves. And then once the client starts to see for themselves and you make small, subtle changes, then the client starts to feel a bit better. Then, you know, you might be educating them on the mindset and you might share books or other things with them. And then they start thinking, along with feeling better. Now Jenny starts asking me questions. Now Jenny starts asking me about what other things can we do to improve my situation. Now I'm getting buy-in from Jenny. Now Jenny has built a bit of trust with me. Now me and Jenny can start building a fucking real relationship together to get her moving forward. And all of a sudden, her work colleagues, those little voices don't matter anymore. Because she starts to understand now the process of why she's doing things and that she's genuinely not happy in the process. And not happy does not mean that she's so depressed or anything like that. It's just, you know, who is happy walking around with a body they're not proud of? Okay. And that doesn't mean you walk around with your fucking 6-pack razor sharp abs or any of that shit. All right. But who doesn't want to feel, you know, good on themselves? Who doesn't want to have energy throughout the day? Who doesn't want to live a life that you don't have to drag your ass out of bed every morning? You know what I'm saying? But it all comes back to getting the buy-in from the client, and how you do that is so individual with the client, because each individual is their own individual. Like for me, I'm very, very black and white. If I was in Jenny's situation, the best piece of advice that was ever given to me and got my rocket up the ass when it comes to Instagram, when it comes to building your own business, when it comes to working on your own, when it comes to making fucking decisions in your life, because most people sit in the fence for all their life, or the vast majority of their life, is I was told, you know, that heaven one day you're going to die. All right. And that day is going to happen a hell of a lot fucking sooner than you realize. And that was it. That was it for me. You know, and everything I do here while I'm here and when I'm gone, no one gives a fuck. You like even on Instagram, okay? I could put on my trousers and put a fucking nude pic on Instagram. Family will say, oh, what the fuck? People have a laugh, a joke. 6 minutes later, it's all news. Okay, I could put up a post on Instagram. I became a doctor. Okay, even I got a fucking Nobel Prize. I could put that up on Instagram. 6 minutes later, no one gives a fuck. All news.
Someone's looking at a cat video.
Exactly. You have to realize that people are so fucking worried about what other people or family will say, or partners. When you start to realize why, what is so special about you? What is so special about you that you think everyone's going to stop their day, stop their things to give a fuck about what you do? And when you start to realize that, you start to take things into your own hands and say, hey, well, no one really does give a fuck. Okay. So why don't I just start doing things for myself? It's my fucking life. I only get one of them. When it's gone, and you're not coming back as a fucking cat or a butterfly. So why not? Make the best fucking life or the best of it while you have. And when you're here, when I say the best of life, That can be just something as simple as looking after your health, eating well, so you have, one, the body to carry you through life, all right? And two, you have the energy and feel good about yourself while you're here to do whatever you want to do. You don't have to be a big fucking, doesn't have to be this all-encompassing goal. It can be really, really simple. But you're here for a fucking short time. You might as well make the best of it. No matter what you do, okay? It's only a drop in the ocean. No one really gives a fuck. Enjoy your time while you're here, make the most of it, and when you're gone, you're gone. Like, what the fuck is it? What's all the fuss about?
There's another no
Yes.
bullshit, simple
Yes,
approach.
but people, and I'm telling you this as well, okay? People are about the pursuit of happiness, okay, which is a false fallacy in itself. Well, you know, I flipped that around before. I forget where I read it, or if I did read it, but people need them. Like, the end goal is never the end goal, never. And if you think you're going to be happy at the end goal, you're backing up the wrong tree, okay? Because the goalposts always move. It's always something else. It's the happiness in the pursuit. Okay, so what, you know, it's like, again, you know, you're in a relationship, Sean. Okay,
I am.
you know it, you know, and whether that could be the most fulfilling fucking relationship that you could imagine. All right, and it's the same with marriage, but it's not the same as when you were getting to know that person. Okay, and you know, you were trying to impress her or chase her or whatever the deals may be, the excitement of something new. Okay, but that was the pursuit. Okay, but now it's a very, very different happiness. It's the relationship building, the happiness in the pursuit, but you have to pursue it first. You get what I'm saying? So this is people now. I have so many people, especially women, and do not take that the wrong way, ladies, as well. But this demeanor of, you know, I'm going to be happier, you know, when my ass is bigger, I've got abs or X, Y, and Z. Shit, it won't. Nothing will change. And I'm telling you that from experience as well, and from speaking to females. But if you can find happiness and contentment and find yourself in finding the goal, okay, it's who you become along the way, what you achieved along the way, and the fucking mental strength, Sean, that comes from setting yourself a goal, okay, all right, not this, I want to lose you, setting yourself a fucking goal, a clear definition of the goal that you either do by yourself, you sit down with your coach trainer, and then you commit to it, and you work together. And when you get towards that goal, remember now, I didn't say end goal, I said that goal. That will put a fucking fire in you, boy, like you wouldn't believe. And all of a sudden, then you start to ask yourself, well, fuck, you know, I didn't do anything special. It was a bit challenging, but I done it. So what else now you're fucking holding yourself back from a life that you're well capable of doing, but you tell yourself these false stories and excuses of what's holding you back. But that's where real confidence comes from. Showing yourself. You can see all these fucking books behind me, Sean. All right. I used to read all of them before, but what did they call that? Mental masturbation, you know, because I used to think I was being proactive. I used to think I was taking action by reading all them fucking things. Shit. One until I fucking pull the trigger, start taking action, that the whole wheel started spinning. And that's where self-worth, self-esteem, and, you know, self-confidence comes from.
Taking that action, 100%. And how or why did you get into like training or bodybuilding, personal training in the very start?
So I want to look like Rocky. Isn't that what the stereotypical is? My story is nothing why I started training. Okay, the real reason was, you know, childhood trauma. Okay, so again, I was susceptible to some things as a child that no man, woman, animal should be susceptible to. All right. So again, you know, I saw weight training as a means as next time, you know, someone tries to mess with me, I'll be able to defend myself. So, you know, I remember back in the day going down to Argos when it opened first in Galway, saving a few shillings, euros, and bought myself my first, you know, York weight set. You know, stole a trolley from Dunn Stores because where we lived in the estate was up on top of a massive hill. So me and my friend Anthony at the time went down, bought the weight kit, and pushed it home and lived in a little semi-detached house, you know, and put the weights up into the attic. And that's where I started, probably 12, 13 at the time, you know. But that's where I started weight training, and then it evolved from there. But my true love for training um, actually stemmed from when I was 16 or 17, probably when I first joined what we would call it my first proper gym. Um, and there was this guy in there, was massive, but I had no interest in him, as in, you know, oh, he's big, I want to be like him. He was training an elderly woman, and they were training, but they were talking about diabetes and nutrition. And after a few weeks, then, because it took me about a few weeks to build up the courage to go over and speak to him. And I said, what are you on about? Okay, like in realms of nutrition and diabetes. And he was saying, oh, she has type 2 diabetes, and how we can reverse that through, you know, a bit of resistance training and lifestyle factors in nutrition. And that blew my mind, you know. And then I started to put the pieces together. You know, I like training, I like helping people, and you start to merge the two together. And that's where my love then for nutrition and training started. One, the training was the physical endeavor. Okay, it allowed me to get out of my own head, exert a lot of frustration as a young man. But then when I found bodybuilding, the concept of body composition, the impact nutrition and training, you could change how you look. Okay, that was fascinating to me. And then, but come back to the pursuit, it was the process of bodybuilding, the structure, the routine, the eating, and everything that encompassed it, and the mental strength it took to endure it as well, that I fell in love with. Then copy with that, how the profound effect nutrition and training of all sorts has on the human body and mind and people's lives. Then I found a love for, just naturally, I started helping people. Even when I was a kid, I would go to other people in the gym and say, you might want to try it this way, or maybe do this, or maybe do that. You know, I would start giving them advice, you know. And then I found myself when I was around 18, grown ass men telling me what to do in the gym. And I would say, well, I don't really think that makes a lot of sense. You know, I was this little kid. But what happened to me, Sean, is I fell into the same trap that most people do. Okay. I wanted to be a personal trainer when I found out it was a real thing. Okay. I wanted to make a job out of it. But, you know, I got the slap in the face in school. Cop on to yourself, Connelly. You know, you're a fucking Amadon. Okay. Which is a fool, you know. That's odd. And it was deemed as well as personal training wasn't a career, wasn't a job. And the same thing with my family, my father. Cop on to yourself. Get yourself a real fucking job. And then I fell into the trap, which I had a job because I was working since I was 13. And then, you know, that disheartened me. So I didn't follow suit in becoming a personal trainer. Then, you know, fell down the rabbit hole of working hard, drinking, smoking, party weekends. And then I fucked off to Australia when I was 18 with two of my friends because, again, nothing better to do when they were going. But all the meantime, even in Australia, it was itching at me. It was itching at me. Even back then, my two friends that went to Australia, they fucking hated me in the sense that because I was all the time talking about bodybuilding or health and fitness and this sort of stuff. And then, you know, and then spent a few years in Australia. But the line of work, I couldn't even train over there, working all the time, came back and then eventually fell into a pit hole of, you know, just misery. And then, long story short, about 4 years ago, then hit rock bottom in life, like fucking rock bottom. And then enough was enough. And it was the final straw to say, right, you know, I went back to my level 3 and built then level 4, level 5, you know, personal training, nutrition, etc. And then I just started helping more and more people, starting a leisure center, built it from there up to a gym. And now I'm renting a space in a gym and I work for myself. And it's just about building and building and building from there. So you see now when I'm on about Instagram, Sean, and when you know, you say about motivation or mindset and this and that, you know, it's because I never try and speak about things that from an authentic place. Or I speak from an authentic place, should I say? You know, and the reason I spout, people come across as, you know, motivation. I don't mean it to be motivational, not by any means. Another reason why I'm black and white, okay, because I see so many people struggling in life, right? And I know how hard it can be, especially for males, because again, there's a lot more, females tend to be a bit more openness. But that's why I go away with Instagram and in the gym to try and help these people, because I know what it's like to be on the other side of the fence. and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But I also know the profound effect, like I said, exercise, training, nutrition, all these things have on the body. But main reason I'm black and white is where I stand back to no one gives a fuck. And until the day steps where you draw the line in the sand, man or woman, and say, one life, and I need to better myself, that's when the real work starts. And then, but as I said, now it's a matter of me just trying to help as many people as I can. You'll know yourself, it's not to scale my business, it's not to be, 10-figure or 6-figure coach or anything like that. It's what allows me to sleep at night, Sean. That's why I help people. There's nothing more, nothing less. So that's why I started training people, what drove me to learn more about nutrition and training, as well as my own physical and mental endeavors. And it's led me to this point now. And I just continue. It's about, showing up. Did I show up on Instagram? Did I help anyone? Did I show up in the gym today? Did I help anyone? And even though, it's easier to help people on Instagram now than it is in real person and people. People literally, people don't know how to fucking talk to people. And that's what frightens me. And that was the biggest thing I learned from, my years working on the doors as well. Fucking hell, people don't know how to speak to people, and I would see people, and it was like a conveyor belt of these people being made in a factory. Everyone looking the same, everyone doing the same, everyone listening to the same. And I would speak to people because I enjoyed helping people. And I felt responsible for the people inside of that club or pub on a night out as well. It was my job to not just secure the doors, but make sure people inside were safe. I used to take that onus upon myself and try and help them best I could. But I couldn't have a conversation with people, sober people. There's no charisma, no character to any people. That's why I like personal training as well, because it's 90% mental.
Yeah.
The gym is the easy part.
The name is in the title, like personal training.
That's what's forgotten, Sean.
Yeah.
Personal training is no different than any other fucking relationship. You get to know each other. All right. Trust is earned. Respect is earned. All right. And then the whole process only works when there's two fucking individuals that are committed to the same goal, and the two individuals hold up their end of the bargain. But to be a personal trainer and to do that with people requires a hell of a lot more work than a 3-minute check-in and a poxy fucking 40 or 50-minute gym session where you just count reps. It's personal. The very same way in the health and fitness, people have forgotten health. There seems to be this forgotten fucking team of health and fitness, and it's staggering, but I understand why it's this way now as well, that people are willing to feel worse to look better. All right. And that's what's frightening to me, but any individual or look down on them, I fully understand, God forbid if I was a teenager now or a younger man growing up with social media, I just about had Bebo, and fuck, like, God knows what I'd be like if I was growing up in this. And I do empathize. With people,
it is tough, and it's good that there's still people like yourself out there speaking the truth.
It's and I can be a bit like an old dinosaur and sound like a grumpy old man at times, but I look around, and someone has to fucking take a stand, and not tell people what to do, but try and help people. It's part of being a man. It's part of being a human being as you evolve. You pass your knowledge on to the younger generation coming fucking through. Yes, it's a different environment. Okay. Now I'm speaking about health and fitness and training. All right. I might be on about mindset. I might be on about other things, but I stay within my fucking lane. I'll speak to a client or an individual about my own struggles and endeavors and how I overcome them and what helped me. But I'll never ever prescribe something or tell someone this is what you need to do. All I do, Sean, is pass on the bit of education and knowledge I have from my own experiences, endeavors in health and fitness and training, and what I know to this date to the best of my ability. You guys can either like it, ask me questions, or say, Kevin, you're full of shit. But it's just, I have two eyes, Sean. Okay? This is how I see things. Doesn't mean I'm always fucking right. I'm fucking wrong a hell of a lot longer or more than I'm right. But this is why I pay for, what we call nowadays mentors or coaches or other people's time and experience. Because I read something, or I have a client, or I have an experience, I see it through my own perception. All right. But if I explain to someone else, they might see it some different way, a different complexity, a different perspective. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's the importance of, as I say, stepping outside the snow globe. That's the biggest issue I find with people these days is, you picture a snow globe, okay? You see the village or the town or the city and all the people inside. Okay, so it would take you, Sean, your life. It's a snow globe. People spend their whole fucking life inside their own snow globe. They never once have the ability, okay, to think, I'm not particularly happy with everything in the snow globe. So let's step out of that fucking snow globe, take a step back and have a bird's eye view. Ask someone else, what do you think when you're looking in the snow globe? And then in that snow globe, you have yourself, of course, but you have, everything else, your job, your marriage, your partner, kids, financial, everything that's encompassed in your life. And you ask yourself then, am I happy with it? Okay. Well, where am I actually going here? What am I doing? And then if there's stuff that you're not happy with and you want to change, how do I go about that? Is there something I can change now? Go for it. Is there something I can't change now? Okay, don't worry about it. We'll make steps towards changing it down the line if possible. But do you know why people don't do that, Sean? Because it's incredibly hard for a man or a woman or everything to be fucking brutally honest with themselves. The easy option is to stay in the fucking snow globe, eat shit, take drugs and alcohol, and laugh it off. The only difference in people, the ones that live the lives or design the lives that they want, okay, and the ones that don't. And again, I can be wrong on this, but entertainment or education. Two options. Most people choose entertainment, Netflix and chilling, socializing, okay? No. When I say socializing, getting fucked up, drunk, pissed, whatever, this sort of stuff, all right? Yeah. Socializing is very healthy, but that's what I'm saying. They prefer to do the entertainment, the easy stuff, rather than educate themselves and build a life that they want. Instead, they entertain themselves, bitch and moan, give out about where they are in life. Now, if you take the entertainment route and you are content in your life, who the fuck am I or anyone to say any different? You enjoy yourself, it's your life, nothing wrong with that. But if you take the entertainment route and you're not happy with your life or your body composition or your health, don't fucking open your mouth or bitch about it unless you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not happy with it, but I'm fucking trying. That's what I mean about being honest and calling people out on their own bullshit.
Being honest with yourself, as you said there, like the only man or woman that you have to be honest with is the one in the mirror.
And the reason I say that, Sean, is because for years I lied to myself, and I buried it with fucking self-harm, drugs, alcohol, you name it, you could imagine, because facing whatever you want to call it, facing your demons or facing yourself is one of the hardest things I've found as a man, and speaking to other men and women scares the fuck out of them because it requires a fucking work that you would not believe, all right? And it requires steps for change. Why people stay in the situations? Because the excuses is what helps people, helps us feel better about ourselves when, I didn't lose weight because kids, family, finances, whatever. They might be viable, but it makes us feel better about ourselves when we don't achieve what we really want, when there's an excuse there. You get what I mean? Like, I guarantee you, if you get to most people and say, right, all your excuses, which can be valid, I'm going to look after all of them for 5 years. Okay? that business, that body, that car, everything that you say you keep wanting, it's like spreading the waters in the ocean. There you go, Jenny. All right. Clear path. You've got 2, 3, 4 years to go get after the life you want. I look after all the excuses. I'll take care of everything. 9 times out of 10, Jenny would fucking, no, you're all right, Kevin. I'll stay where I am. Because when you take all the excuses away, when you don't give people the excuse, it scares the fuck out of them. Scared the fuck out of me. Like you wouldn't fucking believe. But that's, you know. And if you notice, Sean, we're talking now for a while. I haven't mentioned calorie deficit, diet, or reps or sets fucking once.
Yeah.
The
And
reason
you're a
for it.
personal trainer, and you haven't
Exactly.
mentioned them once.
You know, but as I said, you know, but and there's very good reason for that. The training aspect is an important aspect, but it's only a minute aspect of change. You know, getting results, getting real fucking results now. Not six packs. That's not results unless that's the goal. Okay, but building yourself and your life, and more importantly, your fucking health, and you build it for a life, not this 6, 8, 12-week shit. But that requires a hell of a lot of work from me, the individual. So again, people don't want to do the work, you know. And when you say, I'm not always talking about clients or everyday people, you know. I'm talking about professionals as well, you know. So again, you know, do the fucking work, but most importantly, do the right fucking thing. It's where integrity comes in, you know. Too many people are taking this fucking get rich quick scheme approach to personal training, building a business shit. Now, that's not my scope of practice. That's not my premises. You know, I don't know anything about business, but it's what I perceive as, you know, I'd rather be an old man with just a few pennies in my pocket, but you can say, well, look, at least I done things what I deem to be right, and I helped a few people along the way, you know, rather than having millions in the bank. All right. But you know, you fucked up a lot of people along the way, and that you didn't hold your own standards and your moral integrity. Because, like I said before, Sean, when you die, you die. But you're going to spend a long time by yourself then, boy, you know? And it doesn't matter, okay? Every morning you wake up, you brush your teeth. Well, I hope you do. All right.
I got a new toothbrush.
Who's looking back? Who's looking back with you in the mirror?
Sean Power.
Exactly. And for me, again, doesn't mean I'm right. But when I look in the mirror and I can look at that handsome bastard looking back at me, when I can be content and know that I done right by people and I done right by myself, which I haven't always in the past, I can sleep well that night. And you can be sure when I take my last breath on this planet, or whatever you want to call it, I'll rest content. And that's what I try and persuade on to the clients. And clients, people see that. Every one of my clients know exactly that I'm trying to do my best for them. But they also know that if and when they fuck up, it's no issue. We work through it. They can be open and honest with me. They know they can ring me any time of the day, relatively speaking, and they can tell me anything. But that takes time. You know, I'm not busy, as in, you know, busy. But I eventually built up where I have a handful of clients now that I've built and earned a bit of respect and trust with. They're starting to buy into the process. But that takes time.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
But you're coming at it from the right space. You're walking before you can run with it, and you're setting everything out.
Well, it's what's the, you know, you got to walk the walk. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, you talk the talk, but you also walk the walk as well.
Yeah.
So tell us where people can find you, Kevin. You mentioned your Instagram there.
Yeah, Instagram is KC Health and Strength. I think I don't look at it. It's just, you know. So I type in that, you'll find me on there. And as I say to everyone, you know, and I do contact every follower and new follower that I have. So if there's anyone listening to this and you do become a follower of mine and I contacted you, one is to acknowledge that you've taken the time out of your day to follow me and that I greatly appreciate it. Two, it's that I am a personal trainer, coach, health and fitness enthusiast, I'm here if you need me. All right. It's not to sell you anything. All right. So just be wary of that. All right. It's there to help. And then outside of Instagram, same thing, Kevin Connelly, KC Health and Strength on Facebook, but I'm not really active too much on there. And then in person is Hustle Fitness in Duishki in Galway. It's where I train my one-to-one clients out of. And that's,
Yeah, and I'll put the links to your Instagram and Facebook in the show notes as well, with a little description of what we talked about in the episode. And if, as always, if anyone wants to support the podcast, they can follow the Buy Me a Coffee link, and you can buy myself and Kevin a coffee. And what I say is, if someone buys us a coffee off it, then we will meet in person. You're not too far, because I have some people from all over the world sometimes on the podcast, but we will meet in Galway, or maybe here in Clare or Cork or wherever, and we will spend that money that you donated to us on a coffee.
I'll probably buy a whiskey. Fuck the
coffee. Or a
whiskey,
yeah. So Kevin, thanks a million for coming on the podcast today. It's been fascinating, and I'm definitely going to be listening back to this podcast again. I find myself listening back to more and more of the podcasts, because I've had some really interesting guests on, and be definitely taking some clips off this for Instagram, for reels and stuff, just to motivate people and showcase your coaching as well. Any final words of wisdom or anything?
Well, I don't know about wisdom, but firstly, I do appreciate you having me on, you taking the time out of your day, you considering me to be worthwhile to ramble for an hour or two.
Definitely worthwhile.
It just stems back to simplicity, okay? And whether you're starting off or just getting back into it, one thing, start one thing, okay? Whether that's from your nutrition aspect of things, or whether that's from your training aspect of things. If you do not know where to go or what to do, do your research, find yourself a good trainer or coach to help you, okay? One that will speed things up a hell of a long way, but start small, slow and steady. And again, a goal, your goal is your goal. It's irrelevant to anyone else. Your goal could be simply to get up when the alarm clock goes off instead of hitting the snooze button 26 million times, and drink a glass of water in the morning, okay? And that to you can be as important a goal as someone training to the Olympics. And that's from my perspective as a coach. If that's the person's goal, to get up and drink a glass of water, that's as important to me as if I had an Olympic athlete as well. Start slow, start small. And again, like the old days playing the Game Boy or PlayStation, there's a reason you have to complete level 1 before you go to level 2. But the thing is, today, instead of completing level 1, everyone searches for the cheat codes so they can go right to the top level. And you know what happens when they get to that fucking level, Sean?
Can't complete it.
Yes, and they get ate by the big bad dragon, spat out, and they say, fuck this game, it's a load of shit. And they don't even go back to level 1. They never play the fucking thing again. Would that be a life metaphor for you fuckers?
Brilliant. I guess got flashbacks there, pressing
showing my age.
X triangle, up, down, left, right.
But as I said, I know I didn't touch on a whole lot of actual training and actual nutrition, Sean. But as I said, for most, that's not the real issues.
Look, we can always do it again if we want to touch on some training and nutrition topics. But that was amazing today, and thanks a million again. If you like the podcast as well, remember, like, share, and follow. You can also give us a review, I believe, now on Spotify. So if you could do that, that'd be amazing. And right, we'll talk to you in the next episode.